Please support the only original Farscape content on planet Earth. Contribute through the link below. My previous video on conflict in Farscape, the original series, mentioned the Crichton body count. What do I mean?
You know, I heard he destroyed a peacekeeper Gamic base, murdered an entire Nabari battalion, even laid waste to a shadow depository. I was a devil. He raped and pillaged, he popped eyeballs.
Oh, well, where do they get these stories?
People do understandably think of how many people died around Crichton.
Have you wasted my death and the deaths of so many others?
I don't know.
Then I suggest you find out before anyone else dies for the love of you.
But one reason Farscape is distinctive in science fiction is that the main characters are trying to avoid conflict, not fight. Especially Crichton. He's not military.
I'm a damn scientist.
He starts his time on Moya as a pacifist, or at least someone who seeks to avoid conflict, and especially killing.
You didn't kill him.
Guess I'm not that kind of a guy.
That's one of the questions about Crichton. What made him become willing to kill? And yes, he does end up killing a lot of people. Crichton does kill a Drac in the 3rd episode, but he understandably assumed it was a pest to be exterminated. And who wouldn't try to squash that thing? Circumstances force Crichton to learn how to fight and kill. Maldus contrives to pit Crichton and Crais into a battle to the death in That Old Black Magic. Crichton at first tries to make peace, but Crais is having none of it. Crichton is forced to save himself by being willing to kill Crais, and he doesn't only because Maldus intervenes.
Where's Grace? I had him.
I returned him to his ship.
Bring him back! I had him!
Yes, you did! Took you long enough.
Crichton does kill the intelligent virus-infected Larak in A Bug's Life, though he acted to destroy the virus, the same virus that used him to kill Hassan, the same virus that Dargo said could contaminate thousands of species before it's able to be contained again. Crichton continues to be a pacifist even late in Season 1, when some people say the Crichton body count begins. This is when the grand story arc shifts from Crais being the threat to Scorpius being the threat. Crichton feared Scorpius, and he suffered significant trauma from being tortured by Scorpius. And he did at times want to kill Scorpius, but it didn't seem to fundamentally change him, at least not right away. After being rescued by the radiant Aaron Sun, Crichton returns to avoiding violence. He inadvertently kills Bernie as he saves Zan, true, but when he develops a plan for Moya and friends to escape from Scorpius, he tries to keep casualties to a minimum. All indications are that the Gamic base was evacuated without loss of life, a major accomplishment for Crichton.
Admire Crichton his strategy. If he ignites the oil surface of that moon, we will have to abandon our research and evacuate the base.
Should we shoot him down, sir?
I cannot risk killing the knowledge that he possesses, and he knows that.
Crichton's first deliberate, verified kill happens with
Traltix! T''R''A''L''T''I''X. Traltix.
Yes, Traltix, the pest endangering Moya and her inhabitants. After it's decided that Traltix must be eliminated, Crichton is nominated for the dastardly deed, which he does with a certain amount of panache.
We are going to die.
Well, I said a certain amount. It's ironic that crackers don't matter. The likely winner of any poll as to the funniest and most loved Farscape episode is when Crichton commits his first premeditated homicide. It's not until 11 episodes later that he commits his second, the self-defense killing of a Scarran in Won't Get Fooled Again. He is still avoiding violence and killing only as a last resort. Even in the dire situation in A Clockwork Nabari, Crichton tries to find a way out without killing.
Not now, you freak. Get out of my head.
It's in the Liars, Guns, and Money trilogy that something shifts within Crichton.
You're Harvey.
Yes, Harvey, who first appears in Crackers Don't Matter, then saves Crichton in Won't Get Fooled Again by telling Crichton he has to kill the Scaran. It is in Liars, Guns, and Money that Harvey starts trying to directly control Crichton.
I can do this.
Crichton is no longer alone in his own consciousness.
Scorpius, when he put me in his chair, he did something, and it's getting worse.
Scorpius's neural clone prevents Crichton from killing Scorpius, but how else does its presence affect Crichton? Clearly not in a good way.
Kill me. Dargo, please. Kill me.
The neural clone causes Crichton to kill Aaron, horrifying scenes I decline to show. Crichton has the chip removed, but there's a problem.
I thought you were put in here to protect me.
Until my task here was completed, now that Scorpius has recovered the neurochip...
You should be gone. How come you're not?
I don't know, but this...
The best that Crichton can do is contain Harvey.
Shut up.
Harvey is still there, and as I explored in my video on Harvey, the Puka, Crichton learns how to work with and use Harvey's knowledge. But despite Harvey providing some of the funniest moments in Farscape, because of what Harvey is,
a very sophisticated neurochip. It contains... well... it contains me. Or a mental clone of my, personality.
it's possible that Scorpius's violent tendencies have bled into Crichton's personality.
This is not the time to be messing with me!
That's one theory, that Scorpius's neural chip influenced Crichton to be more violent. But I don't think so. Despite Harvey's presence and urgings, Crichton continues to eschew violence in Revenging Angel. But on the other hand, or on the other Crichton, he is willing to commit homicide on a grand scale. He commits this act after Harvey is removed. It isn't Harvey encouraging Crichton to kill Scarans. It's the ancient known as Jack.
Destroy that data.
Are you paying attention? Because it's too late. The data is on the Dreadnought now.
Exactly. Therefore, we need to destroy the Dreadnought.
There isn't anything on this planet that would even get its attention.
And the ancient gives a damn good reason to destroy the Dreadnought, just as Harvey had given a good reason to kill the Scaran. Crichton kills to prevent more deaths. Crichton never wants to kill. It's just that circumstances force him to do so.
This is what you want. This is what you want.
No, Aaron, it is not what I want. It's just that fate keeps blocking all the exits. And no matter what I do, I just keep circling closer to the flame.
He's correct. Let's look at the trail of violence he traveled.
You know, I heard he destroyed a peacekeeper gamut base, murdered an entire Nabari battalion, even laid waste to a shadow depository.
Gamma Base? Crichton and friends find the solution to escape Scorpius with the least possible threat to sentient life. Murdered an entire Nabari battalion? False. Varla's ship had a run-in with a peacekeeper patrol, and Varla was killed by Milak. Laid waste to a shadow depository? No, that was Talon and Crace. Crichton and company would have just stolen stuff without destroying everything if Scorpius hadn't have shown up and spoiled their plans.
Why do our plans never work? Murphy's Law.
The one time that Crichton does go on a killing spree is when he goes commando in I Shrink, Therefore I Am. Again, though, he kills only to save his friends. In We're So Screwed, his nuclear gamble saved them, but at a horrific cost.
I could kill more people. Maybe there'll be innocent people. Children, maybe.
That nuclear bomb in a field of flowers and the wormhole weapon are the main reasons Crichton is known for having a high body count. After 86 episodes of trying to avoid violence, he commits 2 ultimate acts of large-scale killing. The wormhole weapon ends the grand story arc of the original series, the Peacekeeper Wars being the sadly shortened Season 5 that Farscape was never allowed to make. Untold number of ships were swallowed up by Crichton's wormhole, killing an untold number of peacekeepers and Scarens. There is a shot that suggests that the only ships that survived were Stalik and Grazes. We learned much earlier that a peacekeeper command carrier has a complement of 50,000. Times that by dozens, or over 100, and probably that many Scarens. We are talking millions dead.
Wormhole weapons do not make peace. Wormhole weapons don't even make war. They make total destruction, annihilation, Armageddon.
Of course, the Peacekeepers and Scarens were already in the process of annihilating each other in only one battle in a galaxy-wide war. The wormhole weapon did make peace, and Crichton used it only for that purpose. Was it worth the price? How do you calculate that? The philosophy of utilitarianism says an act is moral if it brings about greater happiness. If Crichton's wormhole weapon increased the net amount of happiness in the galaxy, then it was a moral act. But how do you measure such a thing? Another common moral system emphasizes acting out of a sense of duty to moral laws. This is how Crichton thinks. His actions are moral because he has a duty to protect his family and friends.
Returning here was wrong.
I have to protect the people I love. And you owe me for putting that crap in my head.
Crichton's body count is high, but he considers it a necessary evil because his duty is to preserve life.
Is there another way?
I don't see one. It's worse than you think.
Is it worse than Darko being blown to pieces? Is it worse than our son dying?
We can argue whether Crichton chose the best path. We can also argue whether Crichton was blinded by his sense of duty to his family and friends. Regardless, Crichton did leave a trail of death. Though, to be fair, it was this guy's fault for giving Crichton the wormhole knowledge in the first place. He upset the balance of the universe, and many people paid the price, especially Crichton. Perhaps it is his body count, not Crichton's.